Wake up, wake up.
This is a brand new episode of Wake Up Bright
Wake up.
with your workout buddies, April and sometimes Yenna. Your hit podcast, your much needed hit of encouragement, empowerment, and motivation to live and grow each day a little brighter.
Record. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to Wake Up Bright. I'm April.
And I'm Yenna.
And I guess welcome again.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome to the Balanced and Bright collaborative that we are doing. Today we have a guest. Happy November. We had some technical difficulties, so this part's just me chiming in after the fact. We do have a guest, as we shared. Aaron from FitLab will be joining us in just a few minutes. I am so excited to be halfway through the Balanced and Bright collaborative projects. This past week, we worked on creating a to-do list every day that helped us win the day. Yenna and I will talk a little bit more about that tomorrow and on tomorrow's episode. And we also added intentional workouts, so at least 20 minutes of exercise 3 times. So I hope that went well last week. And as we go into this week, we will share this week's kind of prompts or initiatives tomorrow as well. I am just so excited that Aaron agreed to hop on and give us a few new to working out tips. And I'm excited to see where this goes. It's connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there we go.
Hi.
Hey, Aaron.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, nice to finally meet you too.
Nice to meet you too.
How was your Halloween?
Halloween was good. We, last year with everything that's been going on, our town usually has this, they shut down this main street or 2 streets in our town, like right near the town center. And all the kids would go trick-or-treating. So last year they didn't do that. They reopened it again this year, but we started a new little neighborhood tradition because we have so many kids on our street. So all the neighborhood kids and parents went trick-or-treating around our area. And then we went to the other part of town. So my kids brought home this enormous amount of candy, like unbelievable. I have to hide it from not only them, but from myself too. And but it was a lot of fun. Kids had a blast.
Nice.
How about you guys?
Yeah, my son went trick-or-treating for the 2nd time and he had a blast. I think his bucket got a little bit too heavy when he was running around like a maniac with this.
We had to actually drop off half the candy halfway through back at our house and then go to the second place because it was getting too heavy. They couldn't carry it after a while. What about you? Did you guys do anything? April?
Yeah, so we I like the day before Thanksgiving, the day before Halloween, decorated our porch. We did like a trunk or treat a couple weeks back. So I just used that stuff and put like spider webs and stuff everywhere. We had a couple of trick-or-treaters, which it's the first time there's not a lot of kids, I don't think, on our block at all, but we had a couple. So that was good.
Yeah, by us, we have a few people that go all out, not on our street, but on those couple of blocks that they closed down for trick-or-treating. And in previous years, some people set up these haunted houses outside their house that kids will walk through. And it's like a short little thing. There's another house that has an outdoor movie theater they set up and they give out popcorn to all the kids, like endless amount of popcorn. So it's like a really nice town tradition that's been going on for, I don't know, a couple decades now, I guess. And anyone who buys a house on those 2 streets, they're warned, Halloween's a big deal here. We're right near Sleepy Hollow, also in New York. So it's like a big deal. And, anyway, it's kind of cool.
That is cool. I think somebody hosted like a movie night on Saturday here, but we missed it because we went to a party.
That's so cute. I wouldn't have thought to do that, to set up like an outdoor screening thing. That sounds like fun. It's a really good idea. Well, We invited Aaron here so that he could share some training tips with us and kind of put him on the spot. So
In the hot seat.
He could share a few tips, and then as he shares tips, Jenna and I will chat with him, ask questions, and all the things. So I'll turn it over to you, Aaron.
Sure. So I'm assuming we're talking about people who really want to get started on a weight loss journey and get back in shape. So I think a lot of the time, it's something we spoke about in a previous podcast that, we all tend to be our own worst enemies, right? And we all tend to overthink things. So I think the number one and biggest tip I have to start off is, don't overthink and don't overcomplicate things. Fitness does not have to be complicated. I know there's so many influencers and people out there who make videos and content that tries to sound like, or make it seem like there's some proprietary thing, this secret formula that you have to follow and only they know it. And you have to follow what they do. And there's no secret formula. It's actually much easier than most people think. And, just don't overcomplicate it. Just starting and just learning as you go is, the best way to do it. So that's my first important tip, I think. And I'm curious what you guys think of that, or, build on it too.
I love it. I definitely think no one is going to be, and this has been a common theme that Yenna and I've talked about, no one is going to be your hero. Nobody's going to have all of your answers. So I love that, because each one of us are so different. We're not going to go to one source and we might go to one source and find a ton of information that's helpful for us, but usually we're going to have to try and figure out what fits within our lives, what fits within our specific needs and journey. So I love that, of going slow, but just starting. I watched a Jocko Willink Instagram video right before we hopped on. And he apparently was like procrastinating his workout this morning, and he's like super dramatic. I have mixed feelings about him always, but he's like, I was like playing with the music and I was like setting up my workout and I kept like going back to the music. And finally I realized what I was doing and I just pressed go. when you're hesitating or procrastinating, get the timer out and just hit go. And then he like dramatically like fades.
Yeah, I guess, well, if it works for him, then good for him.
Yeah.
I guess you just need to find whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know this guy. I've met him once or twice. He goes to my gym in the area. And, I know he started out probably 2 years ago. He had a lot of weight to lose. And the guy just loves dancing. So, he goes to the gym and he gets on the treadmill and he dances his way on the treadmill. Like if you don't know him, it's kind of funny to see, but then you get to know him. He's the nicest guy, but he doesn't care. He gets on the treadmill and he like walks and dances his way to and it just works for him. He does it for like an hour plus sometimes. And he does other stuff too. And obviously he modified his diet and all this other stuff, but he does what he enjoys. And I guess that's part of the point. There's no secret formula. He's getting more active. He's burning the calories in a way that he enjoys doing. And that's the important thing.
I love that. That makes my heart happy. I just like what I'm seeing in my head. That's awesome.
It is kind of interesting to see. I mean, and I give him a lot of credit because you got to have some guts to do that.
All right. I wish more people would be like had more courage to just do whatever makes them happy.
Yes.
And just live their life like they want to and not worry about
now, by the way,
people.
that's another thing. I don't know if we're ready to move on to number 2, but it kind of does lead into it, which is, I think so many people are afraid of going to a gym. They think that they're going to be judged. They think that it's like a scary place. Oh, I'm not, people are going to look at me and they're going to say, oh, that person is too weak, or they're too, overweight, or they're too whatever. And they get in their own heads about it. And I think, look, I think we've said this before, we're all our own worst enemies with this stuff. And, at the end of the day, you just have to just go and realize everyone is probably having those same thoughts about themselves, no matter how good shape they're in or not. Most people are all thinking about how they look or how they appear or what others are thinking of them. They're not thinking about anyone else. They're not worrying about you. So that's a big thing that I think a lot of people also need to realize, because I hear from so many people that I'm so scared to go to the gym because I don't know what to do. And what are people going to think of me? They're going to laugh or they're going to whatever. I guarantee it's not the case. It's not the truth.
Yeah, I think everybody always thinks, oh, people are looking at me. Like, no, they're not. When I go to the gym, I'm not looking at anyone else. I'm focusing on my own thing. And I bet most of the people are the same way when they go.
Yeah. And I think most people lose that too. I think everyone has some like gym intimidation feelings when they first start, and very quickly it fades away. But I mean, just the fact, like if you think about gyms, typically there are mirrors everywhere. The mirrors are there so that we can look at our own selves. Most people are looking at their very own self. They don't have time for anybody else. They're looking at their workout, and not in a vain way necessarily, but like,
they're not there for the creepers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Every gym has those too.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And sometimes asking a friend to go, even if they're not going to join the gym, sometimes just having somebody with you, or seeking out a trainer.
And I feel like if you have like a set workout that you're going to do, helps you stay focused and like maybe be less scared about it, because then hey, this is what I'm going to follow. I don't have time to wander around or do
Yeah.
So that's another thing. How do people know a lot of people also don't know how to find a workout that works for them. They don't even know what to do. Mm-hmm. So that's another barrier to entry, right? For a lot of people, actually, because they don't want to look stupid at the gym, right? Mm-hmm. They're worried about that, which is not really going to be a thing in reality, but in their mind it is. But they're worried about, well, I don't know what to do. How do I figure out what to do? And how do I set up a program for myself? Well, there's all different ways you could do that, right? Now, some of the ways are, you can go online, you can search for stuff on YouTube, on Google, whatever. But we all know there's a lot of good information, and there's also a lot of bad information. So that's a very difficult thing to navigate for a beginner, because I've seen so many beginners fall into the trap of basically following someone and they look great. They know what they're doing. And then they follow them and they follow their workout programs, which turns out are far from great, right? They may even get hurt from it. So, or it's just one of these fitness scams, whatever. It could be anything, right? And there's some good people out there too. But the point is that for beginners, it's a very hard area to navigate and to figure out, well, who do I really listen to? And so I think that's an important whole nother rabbit hole we can go down, at some point. But it's certainly another barrier to entry. Now, there's other ways you could find it. Like you said, Jenna, you could, if you're a beginner and you don't know what to do, you can approach a trainer at the gym or speak to the manager there and say, hey, I really like to get, an introduction to the gym. Do you have anyone that can show me around and give me some advice? They should love to do that, because it could even help with them selling a program, or, having you team up with a trainer, or you kind of just casually watch what people do and you learn. I mean, that's how I learned when I first started working out way back when I was 14 years old, and I made some mistakes and then I learned from those mistakes, but I also learned from people who did know. So there's all different ways. You can hire an online trainer. You can, whatever, see who people really do recommend to follow online. There's all different ways to go about this. But yeah, it's not knowing what to do causes fear sometimes. And it also may cause someone to not go or not start.
If Absolutely. It is going to the gym that's what you want to do, and you do feel that gym intimidation, you don't know what to do and you don't know what to look for working out, there's safety in the cardio deck. Like, just go to where the cardio machines are. And I still get anxiety sometimes. So if you experience this, it's normal. I'll like press a button and it doesn't turn on. And I'm like, oh no, this is embarrassing. I broke it. And so I'll get on like 3 machines before I find like one. And I'm like, oh, it power's on and we're good. And just like get used to being there. Like I like to keep it simple, and pairing that with that just go. Like, sometimes you just go, and maybe your mission that day is just going and going inside. Like if you do that, like you're good.
Get the lay of the land and like figure out where things are. That's right. Great. And then you can research from there.
Work. I had problems with one of the, I don't know what it's called in English, but one of those machines you can pull and it goes up and down if you want to move it in a different height, but it was on down.
Cable machine or lat pull
Yes,
down?
the cable one.
Okay.
So it was on the bottom, and I was like, I need it at the top, and somebody
They're
else
not
was
easy to
doing
move
the other side,
sometimes.
and I just could not get it to move. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna skip this. And I was like, no, I'm not going to skip this. I just asked the dude next to me, like, hey, do you have any idea how to move this? Because I cannot get it to move. And he just did. I'm like, thank you. Like this. At the moment, I was like, well, this is kind of embarrassing, but then I'm like, whatever. I didn't get it to move. Somebody else did. Thank you. Just I had to get over myself.
Yeah, it's so true. By the way, I'm that guy in the gym sometimes that if I see somebody doing something wrong or dangerous, like bad form, that I could clearly tell they're going to hurt themselves, or I could see they're struggling. I'm that guy that will go over and just kindly introduce myself, say, hey, I just want to notice what you're doing. If you don't mind, can I offer you some helpful advice? Most of the time, they're totally cool with it. I end up making a new friend out of it, and I help them, and I feel great. And, ends up being a nice little friendship, and we talk anytime I see them there. But sometimes they end up giving me the dirty look, and they hate the fact that I even approached them. I don't know if they're embarrassed or they just have, their ego's getting the better of them, but and they tell me to go jump in the lake, go F off or whatever. But the point is that there's always people there that can be helpful and will want to actually help out.
I do think it's a community where it's going to be the exception, not the rule, when somebody is rude to you. Like most of the time when you go into a gym, people are going to be welcoming and kind. They may be too focused on their own workouts to be overly warm and greet you. But at the gym, people are there for a common goal of bettering their own self and their own fitness. And most people are going to, if you ask, will totally be willing to help you. And they may even help you a lot more. You might just ask them to fix the machine for you or how to turn it on. And they may give you an hour's worth of insight that maybe you didn't want. But it's a great place. It's a great place to go when you are getting started. And it's a great place to just meet people too.
100%.
So yeah. Well, any more tips for us, Aaron?
Lots more.
I could list a million, but I think another really good one is, setting realistic goals for yourself. Setting a reasonable, realistic, achievable goal for yourself that's based on sustainability. So sometimes people have a difficult time right off the bat identifying what that might be. So that's where, again, research and learning comes into play. Okay, learning if weight loss is a goal, how much is a realistic amount to try to lose per week, or what is a realistic amount of muscle or strength you can build over a period of time, or a set period of time. It's got to be a measurable goal. It's got to be achievable. So these are things that are often overlooked, and someone will even sometimes defeat themselves before they start because they come up with this overwhelming goal, this overarching, huge long-term goal. Okay, I want to lose, 200 pounds, but they don't have a data attached to it. They just have this big number in their mind, and they let that define everything, and they can't imagine how they're going to get there. So part of setting a realistic goal is, it's okay to have a bigger goal like that, but to break it up into much smaller tranches, smaller chunks. And even if it's, have a small goal every week, I'm going to get to the gym, or I'm going to exercise for at least half an hour a day, at least 3 or 4 days this week, every week going forward at that. That's a goal, right? Have a way to measure that, whether it's on a Fitbit or Apple Watch, or that you dedicate time in your schedule for it, right? That could be a great, realistic short-term goal that supports a bigger goal. And it could even be, like you said, April, it could be just doing something small at first, starting to go for a walk every day for 30 to 40 minutes and building that up over time, and then building up your speed over time, or including hills over time. And every week or two, you could increase it slightly to add a bit more of a challenge, and as you build up to it. But setting a realistic goal of, losing, 1 pound or 2 pounds per week at most, nothing more than that. That's because we know that's too much if you go beyond that, right? It could become unhealthy if you go beyond that. All these different things, you set a series of smaller, reasonable goals that will ultimately help you to get to that ultimate bigger goal, and not focusing on the bigger one, focusing on the smaller ones, I should say, and keep focusing on that over time. And that's how you get to your, where you want to be. And it's also how you get started better too.
Love it.
Yeah. Then you don't just wander around aimlessly.
Very true.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Aaron. It's been awesome having you here today. Maybe you'll come back. Maybe we'll make Trainer Tuesday a thing.
I'd love to.
So the book that we are reading is The Gift of Imperfection by Brene Brown. We are going over Guidepost 1 tomorrow. So on Wednesday, come with Guidepost, or Tuesday, Guidepost 1. And Yenna, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Great. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.